What we are going to learn now, Linux. So before learning the Linux, guys, we need to focus on one line of statement that has been given by Linus Torvalds. Who has developed the Linux? Who has developed the Linux? One day, one day he got up and he said, I'll just post a news. I want to post a news. So he went to news channel and he has given this news to everybody. Hello everybody, out there using Linux. I am doing a free operating system, just a hobby. Won't be big and professional like GNU for 386, 486 and 80 clones. So there is a big story behind it, guys. This statement is a very small statement saying my product or whatever I have developed, it is a very small, not like the resource which has developed by any community through movement or through any company. It is not like that, but it is a small, it is a free which I made it. So now we'll try to understand what was the story behind the Linux. So everything will start from one small story that you need to understand. So guys, let's try to uh, reveal the story. Now the time is to reveal the story. So there was a project which was running. There was a project. If anyone knows this story, that is fine. If you don't know, you can please listen. And if some of you uh, are aware, you can listen. It will get repeated so you can remember. So there was a project which was running during 1964. 1964, there was a project which was running into the MIT. MIT, you all know, right? MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And they do have a lab, that lab called Bell Laboratory. Bell Laboratory. In the Bell Laboratory, there is a department called AT&T department. In that department, there was a project running in 1964. The project under the MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And what was the purpose? What was the goal of that project? What was the goal of that project? If some project is running, so it means that there might be some goal of that project. It is a history, but we should understand the goal. The first purpose of first goal of that project was to develop a powerful operating system. Powerful operating, and second goal was to develop multitasking, or you can say multi-user multi-user operating system. Powerful OS and multi-user operating system was the purpose to develop. That was the goal, right? And the third one was time sharing. Time sharing was another solution. Means whenever a computer is performing some task, so it can also share the time to another task. Kind of multitasking, and multi-user can perform their work on the operating system. That kind of operating system was the initial goal to develop that project. And the name of project they have given, just by these three goals, they have given the name of project as a Multics. Multics project. Multics project. They have given the name called Multics project. Now this project was started. There were five members. There were five members in that project. I'll reveal the name of everybody also. There were five members in that project. They were working on that project. Initially they feel like the project is easy, development of everything is so easy, so we will try to develop. But for researcher, for engineer, for scientist, Nothing is easy, nothing is difficult. Everything makes sense when they will think basically it is easy or it is difficult. So, in their mind, when they have started the project, some different school of thought says when they have started the project, it was there in the mind like it is very easy. But after the time has started passing, so slowly the project became so tough, so they took 5 years. They took 5 years. 5 years, but there was no output from that reason. There are no output from that project. So this Bell Laboratory, Bell Laboratory, uh, Bell Laboratory said we are going to stop this project. So they have stopped this project. Right, that is the first story. So what exactly this story says, like the project Multics has started in 1964 in MIT under the Bell Laboratory and AT&T. The goal was of that project to develop the powerful operating system, multi-user operating system, and time sharing operating system. That's why they have given the name of that project as a Multics project. But after within this 5 years period, no output came. No output came. These 5 years in the five member were working on that project Multics. Then what happened? Then lab this Bell Laboratory has breached out that project. So again, two member two member from this project, two member out of these five. So now story will continue. Two member from five in 1969, after 5 years, two member from this five. One was Ken Thompson and second was Daniel Ricci. Daniel Ricci. These two person was the member of that project. They were still working on that project. They said we will still work on that project. They said we will still work on that project. So you think now if somebody will do some work for 1 month, if they will not get the result immediately, people used to stop the project. They tried for 5 years. They tried for 5 years and nothing, no output came. But again, after 5 years in 1969, they were still working on the same project, and Ken Thompson specifically was leader in that. Ken Thompson was more into that. Ken Thompson was more into that. He was using one computer in the same laboratory. It was DEC P DP7 something. He was using a computer, and on the same computer he was working for the same project. Not only he, once he started seeing some of outcome, seeing some of outcome, then these both initial both were the part of this the project is not anymore official, there was no any name of that project, but they were working. They have seen little outcome, so they have called their team member. They have called their team member. Now you will be asking what who are the team member. So one of the team member was Brian Kernighan. Brian Kernighan. This is a story. If you will see, if you will go through different books that has been published, so you will be also able to get. Or if you will go through the story of Linux, you will be able to get the entire things, right? This team member was McLaurin, and one more was Joy Osana. Osana. So they totally all these team members including Daniel Ricci, they have developed the first version. They have developed the first version of Unix in 1969 itself. Think. So when they were there into Bell Laboratory doing the project, that time the project they did not develop. But once after they came out and they started developing it, so the first time they have released the first version of Unix. Now, first version of Unix. The story is not end, guys. This is not the story of Unix complete. So the next story under this is once the first version has released, then you will be seeing the next part of the story. So after 1969, after 4 years, 1973, if you can remember Daniel Ricci, who has developed C language. Daniel Daniel Ricci has written Unix in C language in 1973. So Daniel Ricci has the father of C language. I hope you all know, guys, right? In 1972, not 1971. In 1972, the entire Unix code, entire Unix stuff, he wrote into C. And once this version came, guys, once this version came, Unix with C, once this version came, then companies like IBM, HP, they started to modify this code. They want to search. This company wants to, you know, get the benefit anyhow. They want to get benefit. They want to, they want to earn the money anyhow. Either they want to modify, they want to use for some specific purpose. So different company, even Apple also, they started making their own operating system. Apple make Mac OS by using the same Unix, and Solaris is also made by the same. And HP UX was coming before, it was also made by the same. And before the entire story, if you think, you will be having something in your mind like, where is Windows? Where is your Windows? Right? You might be thinking about Windows also, because we are just learning about the Unix. So wherever it is matching, somewhere it is matching with the Linux or not. So the story says like, it was MS Window. Window was not the name. It was Doc something. It was something called Doc, guys. Doc, MS Doc. MS DOS. Sorry, MS DOS. MS DOS. If you might have heard before, right? That time Microsoft was having MS DOS, right? MS DOS. So let's come back to the story again. Windows was having, means Microsoft was having MS DOS during this period. They have also worked parallelly. We will be discussing about into the Windows part. But right now, once the Unix has been developed, guys, once the Unix has been developed. So just think, Unix has been developed by few what do you say, scientists or engineer. There were five, and later on it has been modified by the companies like, you can say IBM, Mac OS. If they have modified, then Overall, the Unix came. Few versions of Unix came now. But it was not open source till the time. It was not open source, very honestly. Then, then one student. Now the same scenario was running from 1972 to 1990. Somewhat around 18 years, the same thing was going on. But in 1991, in 1991, 1991, one student, one student, his name was Linus Torvald. Torvald. Their name was different, guys. So the spelling, you can ignore the spelling. You can understand only the, feeling, not name. So one student, Linus Torvald, he was learning into University of Helsinki. We used to say Helsinki. It is, but it is Helsinki. We used to. In that university, he was learning. So he was looking for a project. He was thinking to make a project. He was thinking to make a project. For that project, he was looking a support from this Unix. He was, if he could get the support of Unix, it was only he was looking that time. He was looking. So he tried reaching, these five research people, along with that, these companies, to get the Unix detail. But nobody had shared the Unix detail to Linus Torvald. Nobody has shared. This has been written. That's why we used to say Linux is not Unix derivative. Linux is not Unix derivative. Nobody has shared anything of Unix to the Linus Torvald. Right, guys? But at the same time, there was a professor. There was a professor. He was teaching his student by making one operating system, and he has given the name of that OS as a Minix. Minix was the operating system that is made for the purpose for teaching purpose, teaching to the student. For teaching to the student, one professor has developed Minix, and the professor name was uh, Tannen Tannenbaum. Tannenbaum. I just remember this word from last a few years. Tannenbaum. And the initial name was uh, Andrew Tannenbaum. Andrew Tannenbaum. He is the professor. He has developed Minix for teaching his student. Now Linus Torvald take the help of this Minix to develop the Linux. To develop the Linux, he took the help of Minix to develop the Linux. So you can say Linux is the Minix derivatives. Linux is the Minix derivatives. Now, when Linus Torvald has developed the Linux, then once after developing, he has posted this message, guys. And they were asking the company when before developing, when he went to the company and the individuals, those professors. So the company has given the prices somewhat around, $3,000 to $5,000. So in 1991, you think, or somewhat around 1990 also, you think, in 1990, what will be the value of 3,000? Now in India, it is somewhat 85. So you can calculate. So if they were asking 3,000, it was very, very tough to pay for a student. So once he did what he said, hello everyone out there using Unix. He is telling directly, he is revealing using Minix that is made by the professor. I am doing a free operating system, just a hobby. And his project name is Hobby Project also. If you search somewhere on internet Hobby Project, this project will come. Won't be big and professional like ZNU for this 80 clone. Means it is not big like GNU and the 80 clone that has been made by those 5 people. But I made it as a free. So what happened after that? What was the Linux then? What was the Linux then? Linux was core manager. Core manager. Means by using this Linux, what you can do? By using this Linux, you can manage the process. What all are the work you are doing? Process management you can do. By using the Linux, you can do the process management. You can do the file management. You can do the application management. And there are two, three, four things were there. So what all are the core part of the operating system was there. It was there basically, means the core part was there already. Core part, you can say either you need to manage the process or you need to manage the memory management part were there. This part were there, memory management in this part, not this application, we can just remove for now. Memory management in these were part has been developed. And after that there was a movement which was running out. GNU movement was running out. So if you think process management, file management or memory management, and these management if you need to do, for that the Linus Torvald gave the name that this will come under the kernel means core of the operating system, which we used to call kernel. If you need to manage the memory, if you need to manage the process, that time you are using the kernel to manage this. But there is no software and application. So parallelly there was a GNU movement. There was a GNU movement which was running out there. And in the GNU movement, the movement was to get the free softwares or application. So the GNU free software and application, once it has been added to the kernel, then totally it became the operating system. So if I'll bring you back to the scenario, guys, so if you say kernel of Linux, sorry, kernel, sorry, once again, sorry guys. Let's write here, kernel of Linux plus, what is kernel? Kernel is nothing but your Linux, which has been developed by Linus Torvald. And what is GNU? GNU is the software plus application, you can say software. So the kernel for your memory management, for your process management, these feature has added, plus the software we have added on the kernel, then we started to call it as a operating system together. This is nothing but your operating system. And when Linus made this, he made it as a open source plus freeware. Open source means the code can be modified by anybody, and freeware means no charge. because he felt like in future if somebody has to modify, if these people are asking money from me, so if any poor person will come in future, poor student will come in future, how they will use the this thing. So from that time, most of the companies started taking the Linux code now, because it was modified and sorry, it was free and it can be modified. So every company started taking the Linux. So now you will be getting different flavor of Linux. So if you see the Linux now, by using Linux, so many flavor came. Red Hat is one of them. Fedora, CentOS, Amazon, Linux, Ubuntu. So many company, they have taken this code, they have modified and they have given their name. They have given their name. But still, it can be modified, it still can be given a different name. But remember, if the company has modified, they have given the name. So companies, most of the companies are also not charging for these operating system. These operating system. When I am telling operating system, it is both kernel plus GNU software. So this OS, this OS has been modified by multiple organizations and given different name. But still, so many company, almost all, are not charging for the OS. But along with the OS, if you need additional support, then they are charging for it. But still, the Linux is completely open source and freeware. Linux is completely open source and freeware. So this is the story of the Linux, guys. This is the story of the Linux. And after that, we will start learning everything one by one. You will be having much more clarity on it. Whatever we will be learning in future, right? So overall, the story says Linux came. So Linux is a kernel. On that kernel, if we keep the softwares of GNU, we will be calling it as a operating system. GNU software means, let's say, the other applications which we are using of that operating system, kind of text editor or some of file manager stuff, and software which can help you to manage the files, or process manage some of the word related documents maker. That kind of application has been added, mostly which comes by default with your Linux. So, so this is the story of Linux, guys, and it has started in 1964 and it has ended in 1991. The Linus Torvald has developed the Linux operating system, and you can say Linux is kernel, but you can say operating system also, right? So, for example, uh, let's take the example of Pepsi. So Pepsi is a brand, right? Pepsi is the brand, but it is a cold drink. Let's say if you need to drink a cold drink, generally people used to ask Pepsi, Pepsi. So Pepsi is the brand, but cold drink actually it is a product. So if you need cold drink, you can call it by Pepsi. Like the same, it is a kernel. Linux is the kernel, but just for Pepsi, Linux is, got it? Linux is kernel. Once you will add the software, it will become the operating system. So this is the end of the story, and after that, in the next class, we will be learning about what happened once the Linux came, which company has made what kind of operating system, and we will dive into the OS and we will start learning from the basic, from starting to advanced.